This happened to me last week. I worked the late night shift. I was really excited to start this new job I got. I met a lot of cool people there, and I even made a friend with this girl who was named Jill. She was a nice and caring girl. Jill and I became friends really quickly. I started to hang out with her more at work, and even outside of work we hung out. She would even walk me to my bus stop, and even offered to take me home. She would also invite me to her apartment, and we would also go shopping, and basically hang out anywhere together. Things were good until one day I noticed a lot of strange things that were happening at work and even when I was at home, but that will be another story. This happened to me at work, and I was talking to a co-worker about what we were planning to do this weekend, and I had a strange feeling that I was being watched. I looked up and I saw Jill staring at me. I didn't think anything of it at the time. I was just thinking maybe she liked the way I looked. However, I was noticing that whenever I was to someone like to a co-worker or to a boss, Jill would give me a cold-blooded death stare. It felt like she didn't want me talking to them, and she constantly followed me wherever I would go, and even to the restroom. She would just be there staring at me. I was getting very creeped out, but still I didn't think anything of it until finally one day I happened to be late for my shift, and I saw Jill's locker, and it was slightly open like she didn't close it all the way, so when I went to close it, something fell out of her locker. It was the most disturbing thing I had ever encountered, and it had really chilled me to the bones. Inside of the locker was a piece of paper with everyone I was talking to, as well as everybody I associated with. It had all their names and even where they lived, and the places they worked, and on the other side of the paper there were specific times and dates next to their names. I didn't waste any time and I ran to my boss and handed him this paper last. We both came to the conclusion that the days and times were the days and times. She was going to do something very horrible to them. My boss called the police. The next thing I see is Jill being taken away in handcuffs. It's really crazy to think about that. If I hadn't come in late, I would never seen that paper in the locker, and things could have gone bad. I haven't seen her since, but I wish her the best and hope she got help. The year was 1971. I was working at a stand at an amusement park in New Jersey. I was currently 14 at the time. I was just coming out from working and I decided to go on a few rides before going home. Because of my age, I normally worked in the afternoons until 6, but not this night because they had low staff, so I was asked to stay. At 10 my shift was finally over, so I decided to go have some fun. I made my way to the Wildmouth ride, and I noticed a teen standing outside of the ride, but I didn't really think much of it. After the ride ended, I left the park, and I started to walk less than 10 blocks home. At this time, my town was very safe, and I was never really worried about walking home late alone. But this night would be very different. Walking along the street, I heard what sounded like footsteps. So I turned around, but I didn't see anyone. So I just continued to walk. But I kept hearing the footsteps behind me, but still not very close, or at least not yet anyways. However, this time I turned just in time to see the same teen from the park now following me. I ran all the way home and I never saw him again. And I keep thinking to myself, what could have happened to me that night if I didn't look around me and ensure my safety?